Hello there, and welcome to Star Wars Warts and All, podcast where we talk about all the things we love about Star Wars, warts and all. My name is Will. Joining me once again are my good friends Ben.
Hello.
Bill.
Hi.
And Chris.
I am not a bounty hunter.
That's right. No longer is Boba Fett a bounty hunter. He is now a crime boss. As we got our first look at the Book of Boba Fett with a teaser trailer this week. Tonight, we're going to give our thoughts on the trailer and discuss the array of returning alien species featured.
You were all once captains under Jabba the Hutt.
I'm here to make a proposal that's mutually beneficial. Why speak of conflict when cooperation can make us all rich?
All right, so we're going to go frame by frame, right? Frame 1,
Yeah.
Lucasfilm. Frame 2, more Lucasfilm.
Wait, speaking of Lucasfilm, the logo has that cool Boba Fett armor design to it, the texture.
Yeah.
But we're not actually going to get that deep into this. Because we were just saying before we started recording, like, there are so many trailer breakdowns you could watch on YouTube or whatever. But
Right.
we're not going to do that kind of level of nuts. But just like the stuff that jumped out at us that might give us a taste of what this show's going to be, because I still have no clue what to expect from Book of Boba Fett, and I think that's kind of exciting. So I don't want to spoil too much or speculate too much.
I don't think they want to either. I think you were right. You mentioned the other day that all of what they showed is probably from episode 1, and I'm willing to put money on that.
Yeah, I think Disney has gotten good at trailers at this point. I'm pretty happy with the amount they reveal.
I was trying to think of what the Mandalorian trailer was like, but then I was like, wait, was there a trailer?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, 'cause
And then I couldn't remember.
I remember at one point they released the whole like opening scene where he goes in the bar and he chops the guy in half.
Yeah.
Or at least
That was
Maybe.
pretty much the
That's
trailer.
about all they
that
could
was
show.
in a trailer. Yeah, because there was obviously they had to avoid anything that involved the child. So.
Right, yeah.
Right.
And I am getting similar vibes, which has me really excited about this because we've talked about before the Mandalorian started, we weren't really that excited about it because we didn't really know what to expect.
Right.
And look what it's become.
Yeah.
So now, here we are again. I really don't know what to expect from Book of Boba Fett, but now I have good reason to be excited because I've seen what they could do with these things. And it looks like it's going to be good. Like, just based off the trailer so far, I'm intrigued. Although it doesn't take much with this franchise.
I think we've made that abundantly clear at this point.
Yeah.
All right.
But yeah, it doesn't really give much away, so what do we see?
Yeah, so
I guess.
my question to you guys was going to be like, what was the first thing that you saw that made you wonder about what it was or get you excited or whatever?
Well, the first thing I really noticed was Tamura Morrison is looking a lot better. Or
Yeah.
I guess we should say Boba Fett might be looking a lot better because that could be somehow connected to, I don't know, the plotter. Because he not only was he heavier, I think he lost a few pounds and he's looking real trim and you know, fighting fit now. But there's also, if you look at the way his face looked in The Mandalorian, he had like scarring that's not there anymore, right?
Must have spent some time in a Bacta tank at
Well,
some
that's
point.
That's what I'm thinking.
I didn't even
That
pick
was
up
actually
on that.
my first point on that is that very first scene where he says he's not a bounty hunter anymore and the droid hands him his helmet. If you look in the background, there's a bunch of medical equipment. So
Yeah, I didn't really pick up on that being a medical, but you could be right.
Me
It could
neither.
be
So
some kind of
I had to go back and watch it when I saw the notes, and I was like, all right, I could see that, possibly.
Yeah, and maybe that's something he has to do every now and then because of lasting effects of the Sarlacc, which is
I think I didn't
entirely possible.
I didn't think it was medical because I thought a pit droid was handing him his helmet. That's kind of what.
Yeah, I think it was some kind of white pit droid. It looked like.
Oh, we're gonna see what's her name from Mandalorian?
I thought about that too.
Pelly? Is that her name?
Oh,
It's on-
yeah.
It's on Tatooine, so
Yeah, the mechanic who took care of Grogu for that episode. Yeah, it could be. You know what? I would not be surprised at all because they're going to be on Tatooine for what looks like. I mean, again, if this all pulls from episode 1, then they're on Tatooine for episode 1. But they could stay there for a majority of the series, you would think, if it's really about.
Yeah, if he's establishing his
Jabba's
base of
old
operations.
empire.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I could see them going to places like Obadiah and meeting up with the Pikes and stuff like that.
Right, the other crime syndicate planets. Possibly. I don't know. I don't know what the scope of this thing's going to be. It could be kind of just quaint.
They're going to introduce Prince Zizor from Shadows of the Empire.
I gotta imagine they're gonna do more than just Tatooine, though, because they have the technology now to do not on location shots, basically.
Yeah, right, with the volume.
So
and shooting.
I don't know. I mean, Tatooine is iconic Star Wars, but I feel like people want more than desert these days.
Yeah, I agree. Plus, you got the Slave One or Boba Fett starship, whatever you want to call it, to fly around. He's not just going to shut himself around one planet in that thing. Yeah. He's got.
They're not going to have that ship on the show and not drop a seismic charge. So I doubt,
That's a good point. Yeah, got to bring that back again.
So, the first thing that I wanted to know more about was who is that voice in the voiceover talking to him in the beginning? Like they're having a conversation where he's like, "I'm not a bounty hunter," and then the voice responding was like, "That's not what I heard." And I was like, "What?" I was like trying to place it. I was like, "It kind of sounds like Din."
That's what
does.
That's exactly what I thought.
But
that's
then,
exactly what I thought.
I just watched for the last time before we recorded. I watched it one more time with the closed captioning on.
Alien 1.
And it said Alien 1. So that makes me think now that it was the Ithorian that you see in one of the earlier shots.
Yeah, that's an awfully clear voice for an Ithorian, though.
Well,
those things don't even have vocal cords.
They actually have two, because they have two mouths and two giant vocal cords in them. So their voices are actually pretty booming. But I'm thinking more along the lines of it being a translator.
Right.
Yeah, it could be a translator. Because you can kind of hear the Ithorian speech during the second line when they actually show him. You kind of hear.
I didn't notice that.
Yeah.
I know that you sit on the throne of your former employer.
Oh, yeah. Wow. Okay. Well, there you go.
Yeah, because we've never heard a translated Ithorian speech, right? In canon, at least not that I'm aware. So we don't have anything to go off of, really.
I'm trying to think if they had the one that's in Bad Batch in the bar. If he's been.
Does he ever speak?
He has something. He has something around his neck.
He does have a.
Yeah, it's usually like an electronic kind of voice, though. Right?
So
it
might be a voice box.
Right.
Yeah.
Insert clip here.
Hey, you're in my seat. Move it.
So maybe it's somebody else speaking translating for him or something.
It could be. I also wouldn't put it past them for the trailer to just have voiceovers that have nothing to do with what you're seeing on screen.
Right.
That's true.
Like they don't come from that scene at all.
Yeah.
So who knows?
Misdirection.
The only other thing I could think of is with Jabba gone and Jabba's arch rival, Lady Valerian gone, there's got to be a power vacuum somewhere.
Who? You just drop names like this. I'm supposed to know. Who's Lady
You
Valerian?
don't know Lady Valerian? You did not read Tales from Jabba's Palace or Tales from Mos Eisley?
It doesn't matter. It's not canon. Don't bring it up.
It's not canon.
Actually, no. Lady Valerian is canon, actually. There's comic books.
Give me Lady Proxima or nothing. I don't want to hear about any of the ladies.
And even her top assassin is canon as well. That was a Legends character that they made canon. And actually, he's one of the first Bo-Omar monks.
Oh. We'll talk about all the alien stuff in a minute. Let's just get through some of the other possible details or questions out of this. Because there's also an establishing shot of a really massive city on Tatooine, like bigger than Mos Eisley.
Yeah.
Bigger and more built up.
Yeah, it's got tall, skyscraper buildings almost. I'm not sure where that could be. I mean, I guess technically, because I think, Ben, you added in the show notes, Mos Espa is another Well, Mos Espa we see in Phantom Menace, right?
I was thinking more Anchorhead. I wrote Anchorhead.
Yeah, because Anchorhead's a base that's been mentioned but never actually seen on screen, so it could be a city that we've heard of but never seen. Like Anchorhead?
Where's the palace near? What city is the palace near?
Think back to Star Wars Galaxies and what the closest waypoint
Galaxies
was.
wise, I believe that's why I wrote Anchorhead, because I believe that's where it was.
But I feel like Mos Espa was a pretty big city, though, right?
Well, I just did a quick Google, and apparently the capital of Tatooine is Bestine.
Oh, interesting.
Okay, so maybe
it could possibly be that, but not that we've seen it in any.
Right.
I don't know that I realized they had any form of like planetary government there.
To have capitals, yeah, right. That's a good point. Who says that's the capital? Maybe Boba Fett does.
Well, yeah.
I do have questions, some just like overarching questions that I never thought to ask, even when they announced this show. Why? Why does he want to take over Jabba's operation? Like, what's his motivation there?
I mean,
I think they'll probably hit that right off in the beginning.
Profit. I mean, what else has he got?
I guess it could be profit.
He's trying. He's just a simple man trying to make his way in the galaxy, right?
Well, and then there's the line in the trailer that Jabba ruled his empire with fear, and he intends to rule it with respect.
Right.
I think
that just makes me more confused.
Well, I think that respect is going to come from like people respecting that he will kill them. If
or that he was able to survive in the belly of the Sarlacc.
Right, like respect.
He's strong enough to survive,
respect for his skills and his not
his
like
ability to
let's
persevere.
I feel like they're misdirecting us and being like, oh look, Boba Fett's like a good guy now, but I think towards the end we're gonna see, or like at maybe even early on we're gonna see. Yeah, maybe he's better. Maybe he's not ruling with fear, but he's still pretty brutal. I mean, they show that one scene of him like swinging that
stick.
vibro weapon or electro staff thing down on somebody.
Right. Yeah.
And let's not.
Yeah, that was one complaint I was hearing about the trailer. Was that where's the action? It's like, well, I'd rather see that on the day.
Yeah,
I don't need to have all that spoiled ahead of time.
But that's if the show ends up being like a Star Wars Sopranos or one of those crime shows, it doesn't have to be nonstop action all the time.
Yeah, sure. There's plenty of intrigue and backstabbing and who knows what.
I mean, on the brutality front too. Let's not forget that he just walked into Jabba's palace and shot Bib Fortuna immediately upon entering the throne room. So
right,
it's not like he's going to hesitate to like kill if he wants to.
And I'm gonna put this out there again as my whole shtick for this whole thing is this might be the first show where it's not like the Force, right? Because the Mandalorian,
more so this one.
The Mandalorian, okay. I thought that was going to be the Mandalorian, but then they had Grogu, and hey, you know what? It was great. It worked. It was fantastic. But like, there might not be anything at all unless they do flashbacks with.
There will
Obi-Wan
be Force in this. It's Star Wars, and so there will be the Force in some way. Yeah. Maybe the Ithorian is actually a Jedi. Who knows?
Mm-hmm. It'll be somebody who's Force sensitive and has very good luck and whatever.
I mean, there's going to be other characters, so I'm sure, and they're going to be a surprise. So we'll see.
Maybe Crimson Dawn will be back.
Yeah. The trailer ends, though. We kind of already mentioned or talked about this, but with that line, so speaking of the whole ruling with respect or fear, where Fennec points out that, anybody who misspoke to Jabba would have been fed to his menagerie. But Boba says, please, speak freely, which is a very loaded line.
Right.
It's like, it's very much like, speak freely, but tread carefully at the same time.
Right, yeah.
Right.
Choose your words carefully, I think, is kind of the veiled threat there.
Or maybe it's a speak freely because it's your actions that matter kind of situation.
Yeah, maybe. That could be. Yeah. So really, I mean, there's really not a lot to go off of, but that's kind of how I like it, I think, at this point.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, All right, so what we can do, though, is talk about... Because there are a lot of throwback creatures that got Ben very excited
Well,
Yes.
in the pants
Hold on.
to see.
Before we do that, there's one more thing we got to mention, though. And I'm surprised you didn't mention it already.
Oh, okay. Yeah, fair enough. I did forget to point out the music. It's the same music. Well, I don't know if it's the same exact musical recording, but it's the same song you hear
It's the same
from
motif.
the teaser.
Yeah.
Yeah, when he takes the throne at the end of the Mandalorian finale.
Well, and it's
Because-
part of his fight scene, too.
Ludwig's back.
Right.
So yeah, I'm excited about that as much as anything else.
Yeah, the score is going to be great.
Is he doing the music?
Yeah, Ludwig Göransson is
Okay.
doing the music. They got him back. Kind of waiting to see who they get for Obi-Wan. Hopefully somebody different, because you can't have the same sound for all
a
of
different
these. It's kind of
style.
nice to mix it up. Yeah,
I can't see that
but
fitting Obi-Wan very well.
yeah. All right, so let's talk some freaky aliens, because the first one that appears is probably one of the most freaky species.
Most
The
definitely.
Bomar monks, right?
Yeah.
That little spider. It looks like a droid, but it's holding that little orange globe underneath, which is the brain, the actual living tissue brain of this monk who
Yes.
first appeared. You see them in the background of Jabba's palace in Return of the Jedi, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which I think is a common theme here, which would make sense, that a lot of these aliens are known to be Tatooine natives to some
Right.
degree. But yeah, what's their whole deal, Ben? They're they want to be closer to the
So their whole thing
Enlightenment or
is
something?
yeah, in order to be enlightened, you have to give up literally everything, and that includes your physical body. So they just have their brains removed and put into these spiders, which now they're in Legends, they were the caretakers of Jabba's palace. They were the original owners of Jabba's palace.
Yeah, I kind of remember
Is
that.
that in
And-
Tales from Jabba's Palace?
I think so.
Yeah.
There's a lot to them in canon right now that are kind of still mysterious. There's only a couple that are called out by name in the different media, in the different canon media. Like I said, Jabba's rival's assassin was turned into a Bo'omar monk when he failed to kill Jabba because Leia ended up killing him, and it was a whole big thing.
Guess
Yeah, well, I would not be surprised if we learned something about him in the show. Although,
it might just have been
Maybe
a
not.
throwback.
I think it's
Yeah.
just been an Easter egg, honestly. Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, they'll
Flavor.
save it for the expanded material.
Yeah.
And then we already mentioned the Ithorian, right, as the hammerhead alien sitting on that smaller throne. Looks like Boba Fett's paying him a visit for whatever reason.
Oh, maybe
Maybe
he's
to
the governor. Maybe that's what
get
it is.
his
Maybe it
loyalty.
is in the capital.
He's the elected official of the planet, or of the capital Bestine.
But that
Could
makes
be.
me, but that makes me think that the way that the voiceover goes is when Boba Fett says, I'm not a bounty hunter anymore, and he's like, oh, I've heard otherwise. Maybe he has something to do with like the bounty guild. He could be like the head of the bounty guild and trying to get Boba to take a job again. Who knows?
I think it's more just it's like, I'm not a bounty hunter. What's your name? Boba Fett. Yeah, the bounty hunter. You're
Yeah.
still Boba Fett.
Yeah.
You can't. I think it's more just that's who you are. Maybe he's trying to change who he is, and that's more the point. I'm
Right.
not a bounty hunter anymore, but at one time he was the most famous bounty hunter. You can't forget that.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, but the species. Where have we seen Ithorians before?
They're pretty.
Most
they're
Nights the
pretty prolific.
Cantina was the first appearance, right?
Yeah,
In the
yeah,
first
yeah,
Star Wars.
The Cantina,
Right.
Ever since the Cantina, they've been in pretty much most Star Wars media that involves aliens, next to Twi'leks, maybe.
Yeah, there've been Ithorian Jedi. There've
Yeah.
been
Pretty iconic, yeah.
plenty of.
It's a real life one at Galaxy's Edge.
Yes,
That's right.
Yes.
Check
That
it
was
out.
actually I got Doc Ondar vibes off of that Ithorian in the trailer because he's wearing
Yeah.
similar robes and jewelry, I guess, but he seems much younger. Doc Ondar's an older guy, older
Right.
Ithorian, I guess.
Well, how old? What's their lifespan? Hundreds of years?
I assume forever.
know.
It seems like if you're not a
yeah.
human, you live
Yeah.
forever.
Yeah, pretty much.
Huh. He does have a lot of stories, though, so who knows?
He does.
Maybe he crossed paths with Boba at some point.
It would be cool if they're somehow associated.
Yeah.
We also get some sand people. I forgot to mention them because, whatever, we see them all the time.
Yeah.
It's Tatooine. There has to be Tusken Raiders.
I have a feeling they'll do something with them because Boba was living with them or
That's
whatever.
true. Yeah.
So they'll
Right.
probably do a lot more with them.
Yeah, we might see what that whole deal is.
He probably
if they
has a
saved
pretty
him.
good relationship with them. I bet. Like
Yeah.
he's one of them, sort of.
Yeah, maybe not. I don't know.
Who knows?
We'll see. We also get some Trandoshans returning. Trandoshans were in The Mandalorian. Most famous Trandoshan of all is Bosk. These are the giant lizard people.
Can I say that I'm very excited with how they looked in the trailer?
Well, you think they look more like the classic?
They look more
kind
classic, more like actual lizards than they did in that episode of The Mandalorian. I mean, it was cool to see him in that, but
yeah, they did feel a little.
They kind of
different.
reminded me of Goombas from
Goombas.
the
Thank
Mario
you.
and
Oh,
Luigi-
stop
from
it.
Mario Brothers
Thank you.
movie.
They didn't. Yeah, they did. Their snouts were too flat.
No,
or something.
they're-
There's different breeds of
Yeah,
Trandoshans.
right.
I'm
Different,
sure.
you know,
I'm sure.
Climates breed different shapes. of
For some
snouts.
reason, I just got those vibes, though. I don't know why.
And then what about the one in the Bad Batch? You don't like Sid? She's too short and squat.
She's too girl for you.
No, because you know what? She still looked reptilian.
It's too much of a New York accent for a Trandoshan.
That part is a
I
little weird.
don't know. I was excited to see him again because that means there's a high possibility we'll see Bosk actually do something.
It also seems like, I mean, we'll keep going though, because there's also seated at that table with the Trandoshans are some Klatooinians, right?
Yep,
Klatooinians? Am I saying that right?
probably.
From Klatooine.
They
yeah.
look-
So-
Where
They're the only ones that speak in those scenes. They look like the bulldog people.
Yeah,
Yeah, where-
they look slightly melted.
where have we
almost.
seen them before? I don't remember those guys.
There was
They were on the
one-
sail barge.
Yeah, they were sail barge. I think one of them was the one that shot Luke in his hand.
Could be. Well, I
Was it?
remember. So this
Okay.
is a fun little trivia fact. One of the Klatooinians on Jabba's sail barge in Return of the Jedi is named Barada. And also on the sail barge are aliens called the Nikto, which
Yes.
is a throwback to the day the Earth stood still, which I've never seen, but my father would always quote that line, Klaatu Barada Nikto, whatever the heck that means.
Oh.
I don't know. But
Yeah.
that's where Klatooinian, Barada, and the Nikto, or Nikto, all came from that
That's a
line.
cool fact. I did not know that.
Yeah. So the Klatooinians are also there. But it kind of makes me think there might be smaller, almost like species-based crime sects. Like there's the Klatooinian gang and there's the Trandoshan gang. That's kind of the vibe I was
Seems that
getting from
way,
this.
yeah. A little
The
bit.
head of all the families was at the table there for a big meeting.
Right.
Yeah, maybe.
Right, exactly.
They were also
Yeah.
in Mandalorian too. They were the species that was harassing the planet where Cara Dune was with the ATST. Those were all
Oh.
Klatooinians.
Oh,
they
you're
were?
right.
Oh,
You're right.
yeah.
Yes.
They were kind of like almost like white looking, either face paint or just they were whiter in color. But
Yeah, I guess they looked a little different, so
Plus, it was always dark when they were about.
that's true.
Made them hard
The
to see.
ATST was the main focus.
Yeah, right. What else? We also get a shot of a couple Twi'leks or Twi'leks, depending on who you ask. But you see them all the time with the head tails.
Right.
The Hera Syndulla, Ayla Sakura, alien
Ula.
species.
Yeah.
Yeah. And again, associated with Jabba's palace.
Yeah.
That could even be like maybe there's a little gang of Twi'lek escorts or something that Jabba frequently hired for dancers and whatnot.
Yeah, I feel like
you
the
know?
one you see might actually be like at least a recurring character, possibly. I don't know who the actress was, but
You're right. Yeah, she's gonna be in some kind of leadership role. What else we got? Oh, of course, you can't have Jabba's palace without Gamorreans.
who are just
Yep.
like standing behind Boba as if they're his guards. So I guess You kill Bib Fortuna, you take over the
Whoever's
Gamorreans.
in that seat, that's who they'll follow.
The green-skinned, piggish boar species. Always green, always chubby. That's the Gamorreans.
Always squealing like a pig.
Yeah. But we already saw them in The Mandalorian in the Fight Club at the beginning of season 2.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And then the only other one is the Aqualish. Wait, where do we see Aqualish in this?
They're
drawing a blank.
at the table with the Trandoshans.
Forget the
They're
line.
also at that table.
Oh, those the Ponda Baba ones?
Yeah, and then they're at the very end when he says speak, or when they talk about throwing him to the menagerie. They pan over to
that's right.
those two, and they actually look terrified.
Which we also saw those in Mandalorian too.
Yeah, Aqualish are... I mean, a lot of these species are known for being the
Crime?
seedy underbelly of the
only
galaxy.
other ones...
Aqualish are often...
The only other ones that haven't been seen that are probably the Weequay.
Yeah, Weequay, and I don't think there were any Nikto in this.
Not that I saw.
Well, maybe we'll see 'em.
Maybe this is Hondo's live action, debut.
You know what?
Could be.
That's a good point. There's so much we could see in this show,
I was
and
just thinking that. Yeah.
I love to think, because any of that crime side, like this could end up being like a solo sequel too. We mentioned that the possibility is there. You could pull in Kira. You could pull in, ties to Darth Maul. He's dead by this point.
Well, yeah. If we're doing flashbacks, then sure, he could be.
Yeah,
somehow
that
in
too. They could. I mean,
could.
if we're only seeing stuff from episode 1 of this show, who knows how crazy they could go from there, or with flashbacks, or like the Book of Boba Fett. Just the name of that makes me think that it could be almost more of like an anthology kind of thing, like where one episode is just like a chapter that's not necessarily telling a full cohesive narrative, but it's just
the Calrissian Chronicles is for though.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I guess that's why it's kind of where I'm thinking. Yeah.
What if the Book of Boba Fett is literally a book of the people that have wronged him, and now he's going back to take care of people?
Yeah, there's a literal book.
And the number one,
It is, yeah,
the number one name on that book is so prestigious and high up there that he needs to have his own crime army in order to get up there.
Maybe it's an old children's book his father used to read to him back.
Are you scared, Darth Vader?
Camino.
But I'm really excited. I'm curious to see the time difference between the end of the Mandalorian, or that little stinger at the end of Mandalorian, to when this starts. Is there going to be a time difference? Because at the end of the Mandalorian, the last time you see him, his armor is completely repainted, head to toe, repainted. But a lot of the scenes that they show in the trailer, he's got nicks on his armor again. His paint is scratched off. So I'm curious to see how many days, weeks, months, even years it is since that stinger.
It's got to be. I don't know. You're right though. That's a good point. Also, they have to explain, why he looks different, because it does seem like a purposeful thing. They cleaned him up. They made him look more healed, more, together. But it couldn't have been that long though, because he's still assembling.
Yeah, they're trying to explain how he's there and what he's trying to do. And it should be pretty recent.
I wonder. I guess my thoughts are it probably takes place parallel to whatever the next season of Mandalorian is going to be.
Yeah, that's kind of where.
For the most part, unless they do flashbacks, obviously. But I mean, the main part of it is probably around this same time frame.
Yeah, I'm getting excited though. We only got to wait. What?
6
months,
weeks,
basically.
7 weeks. Yeah.
After Christmas.
Yeah.
It's the end of
That's
December,
a little longer
which
than
is weird.
Right.
Usually they start the stuff earlier than that, but
Plenty of stuff to look forward to between then, because I believe they're doing a Under the Helmet Boba Fett documentary on Disney Plus.
Yeah, I don't exactly know what that is. Like The Legend of Boba Fett. It's premiering next Friday, I think. Actually, worth mentioning.
We made him up to sell some toys. And that's pretty much the whole thing.
So make me a guy who looks really cool. I want him to have a flamethrower. I want him to have a jetpack.
And
I'll
shoots,
talk about the-
Give him all the bells and whistles.
shoots missiles out of his knees. He's got to shoot missiles out of his knees. For some reason, that just sounds awesome.
Don't forget the helmet. He's got to have a really cool helmet, too. But next Friday, the 12th of November, is Disney Plus Day. The second anniversary of Disney Plus. So they're going to be releasing this Boba Fett thing. Star Wars wise, that might be it officially.
Are they gonna
However,
announce stuff?
there are rumors that we might get a trailer for one Kenobi series.
Ooh.
I heard that as well. Yeah.
It's going to be a total teaser. It's not going to show anything. You're going to be like, what? That's
I don't
all?
care.
You know what?
He's going to say hello there, and the internet is going to explode. And I'm going to hate
That's
it.
literally it. That's all they need to do. Is they just need to be like, it could just be a black screen and it's just hello there, and then it says like 2028, and people are still gonna go nuts.
Oh man,
It'll be-
that show.
it'll be a little
God,
blonde
I
kid.
can't even.
Who's like trapped in the desert and like a womp rat's about to eat him, and then a lightsaber stabs it, and then you just hear
I don't
hello
think-
there, and then that's it.
I think I've said this before, but that show has me nervous because I don't think there's anything else in the realm of Star Wars I've ever been as excited to get than that show. Like it has to deliver, and I think it will. I really believe it will.
I felt
but,
that. I
it
felt
has
that way
to.
about Force Awakens, and I felt like that movie delivered. So I don't know.
It did. That's true. You know what? That was
That's-
some pretty serious hype. I think that does beat even the Kenobi series.
That was how I felt about the Mandalorian, because you guys kept poo-pooing it because you're like, oh, Mandalorians, blah.
We didn't poo-poo it. We just didn't know what
But
to
meanwhile,
As
expect.
it got
I'm
closer,
like-
I started getting more interested.
I was super excited about it the second they announced it.
Well,
All right,
you win.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's right. I always do.
Anyway.
Well, side question: do we know how many episodes are in the Book of Boba Fett?
That's a good question.
I don't think
they've
they
announced
said
it
yet.
No.
Will it be the
they
standard
do-
8?
You could, one of you could tweet it or something.
Well, yeah, because Kenobi is only 6, right? So we know those are going to be.
It's only
Dense.
6. Oh, okay,
I think so.
it's just one series, right? One
Yeah,
season,
I think it's called the limited series,
limited series,
meaning
Nice.
one
which is
season
what
and done.
which is what Ahsoka's going to be too.
I hope
Well,
so.
if-
These things are much better to be one and dones.
There's
Yeah, still, if it's 6 episodes and you watch each of them 10 times, that's like 60 episodes. So there you go.
All
according
right, I think we've gone off the rails for this episode a little bit.
according to
Yeah, it's turned into the
There
Kenobi
are no
episode.
rails,
actually.
Bill. That's the
according to IMDb, they're saying 8 episodes for Book of Boba Fett in an hour, about an hour.
each.
That's probably
That
just
could be.
speculation.
Who knows?
And the only people on the casting is Boba Fett, Fennec Shand, and Jennifer Beals, who's the one playing the Twi'lek.
That's right, Jennifer Beals. Yeah, she's one of those people you see all over the place. Gal who was in that thing, I guess, is what you'd call it.
Boring conversation anyway.
Outro.
There's a rumor they're making a Darth Maul animated show now.
Yeah, I've heard.
Oh,
About,
yeah.
I've heard that too. It makes perfect sense. Sam Witwer's still available to do a voice, and that's all you really need.
That'll probably
Just
be
get that animation team going.
that'll
again.
probably be the sequel to Solo.
Yeah, I mean that's where it would fit, right?
I think.
Presumably.
I mean, I think the rumor is Paul Bettany will be involved. So.
Right. Oh wait, so then that would have to be before.
Oh right, yeah, it would be before.
Well, yeah, it would be
a
him
prequel.
building up Crimson Dawn. Yeah.
Right.
It could overlap. I mean, who
could.
cares?
It
Maul
could,
is
yeah.
only in one scene of Solo. He could have a whole
Yeah.
bunch of stuff going on. Yeah. The future is bright, thanks to Disney Plus. Disney, I'll take a check, or you can Venmo me.
Please don't send us a cease and
I've got-
desist.
How about we won't shut you down? That's what those tell
Yeah,
us.
what do we get? How much do we get paid for single digits of listeners? I don't know.
Okay.
Oh, that'll do it for this week. Next week, we'll see. Maybe we'll read a thing. Maybe we'll watch a thing. Maybe we won't do anything. It's limitless. I mean,
The possibilities are endless.
yeah. there you have
Do I
it.
need to spell it out?
Social
Since
media
you yelled at me
stuff.
last time.
Yeah.
Warts and all, Twitter, Instagram, Gmail.
Tell your friends. Who
Even
are
if you don't listen
giant
to
nerds.
it, just download the episode and then throw it away. It doesn't matter. Just, what the...
Also, subscribe.
Just pump the numbers.
please, on Apple Podcasts. And leave a good review if you like us.
Or not. Just rip us apart. We'll take anything. Just let us know you're
No,
out there.
literally don't do that. That's
terrible.
like...
They have every right to do that. We don't want to encourage it.
Thanks for listening. This podcast's no good to me dead. That was weak. That was a weak one. It wasn't even a very good impression either. I don't know what I was doing.
I can't do a Tamura Morrison impression, apparently.
Well,
Well,
originally
there's two
that line
different
was
versions
not
of it.
him.
Yeah. You couldn't get either one right.
No, it was terrible.
Linda Gusta, Colo Tus Divan Rebut,